Hey everyone, this is Jesse, and we're playing Value Vintage today, a format that follows the vintage ban list with a $30 budget limit. Today I'll be playing through a league, 5 unknown decks emulating your normal Magic Online league. These players came from the Value Vintage Discord and are taking decks that they would consider for 1Ks. You can find a link to the Discord in the description. They share local events while also hosting online tournaments. Today's deck is a take on an old legacy archetype, Shardless Bug. I had inspiration to work on this list after a player in the Cincinnati area named Curtis did well at an event with the archetype. Unlike unfair variants of Cascade, this mid-range deck looks to leverage powerful value spells off Shardless agents. We have early game disruption in Cabal Therapy and Him the Torok, as well as card advantage in See the Truth and Founding the Third Path. Once we get to 3 mana, we have some powerful tools in Grist and Uro. Our sideboard is filled with answers to different strategies. Disputes are for High Tide and Control, Leyline for graveyard decks, and the Infernal Grasp and Death Marks are for creature decks, mainly initiative. Wear Down is an efficient naturalize effect, and Unmoored Ego answers problematic key cards. If you're looking for Value Vintage content, please consider liking the video and following the account, and let's get into the games. Alright, we have a match against Senna. Senna's a regular player that we get to play against. This hand is a keep, so we won't be able to have a turn 1 play, but we'll be able to go Landscape and a Snarl into some Him effects, so the only thing is we won't have access to blue mana for a while, which might get a little bit awkward depending on the draw, but that's okay. So we're just going to do everything we can to get cards out of his hand. With it being a red deck, there's a pretty good chance it's burn. Okay, it's maybe red-green Delirium, so maybe we can get some redemption here. It makes me think next turn we might be able to Torok into Cabal Therapy if we can get lucky on the card to name. FOMO, okay. Interesting, okay. Nameless Inversion. This Cabal Therapy might be harder. I think we just go for a Lightning Bolt, just because I think it's the most likely... I think it's the most likely card that he could have. It's also the card that answers Torok the most. Okay, so we will be losing our Torok, which is okay. So is there any reason we could take the other fear of missing out now by just flashbacking the Cabal Therapy? We kind of pin those other cards in his hand. I guess he can't cast the Nameless Inversion yet, so maybe it's not... We probably just wait then. Next turn we have potential to cast the Him. Grow our Torok by 2. We just kind of outside the fear, missing out. I wonder if there's a combo with the fear of missing out, or if it's just like a value piece. This is pretty good for us because every time that he loots, this thing's going to get huge. So we know his hand is still Fear of Missing Out, Nameless Inversion. So now what we can do... Go for him again. So now we've hit all these cards. So if the last card is a Bolt, he can trade with our Torok. But we still have a Grist in hand, so we're in a pretty good position still. Okay, he's got Monstrosity. How large is this thing? Okay, it's a 10/10. I think what this play will be is attack with Torok. He won't block because it's too small. Then we can go Grist, shoot the Monstrosity. So at least, excuse me, because we won't be able to survive a hit. This red-green Delirium deck keeps showing up in our leagues. It just seems really solid. This is kind of a different take on it, but so what we will do, so attack with Torok, we attack into this because it's a 3/3. He probably takes 6, and then we go Grist, sack it, kill his guy so we don't die. And then we can cycle Ash Barrens for an island. Right, so we've at least survived the turn. We're going to cycle this Nadu just so we can make our land drop. So we'll lose the Grist this turn. 7 card types in the yard is pretty crazy. If he doesn't have black mana in the deck, then I think that maybe Tarmogoyf's Nest might be a little better than Nameless Inversion. Just because they're both kindred types. So we still have 2 more turns. We'll have the See the Truth active. Patrick Beastie. Okay, so that cuts the clock down. This only taps 1 thing, right? So we would take 5 and 3. So we really only got 2 more turns. So we're going to start by casting this. So we could get the Sedgemoor Witch. I think we're going to get the Sedgemoor Witch. And then we'll actually play Mosswood Dread Knight. So we can block. Potentially go Sedgemoor Witch into casting the adventure side of Mosswood. Faithful Soothing, yep. So we'll have to see what he untaps. Interesting, he doesn't want to trade. So that being the case, we will trade. I I feel like you want to attack with both there, because even if you lose the fear of missing out, you're still able to push damage through. Okay, that's not bad. I still think the play is going to be... Are we going to want to do this to bounce something? We don't die to Phoenix. So we're doing this, we'll get another 1/1 to block. This is kind of a sweet engine because every 1 life that we lose from the Mosswood, we get back from the pest token. Might have to deal with that. So we should leave up 2 mana next turn just for that specifically. Alright, I think we start there. The problem is we can't bounce though. So maybe it's just cast this, leave up 2 mana for Consign. And then next turn we have the ability to Shardless then, because we'll have used our blue mana. We just need to fade a turn from dying. Yeah, I really think that there's probably no black mana in this deck, and if that's the case, then I really think these nameless inversions should just be Tarmogoyf Nest, because then you'd be able to play them. Okay, we have combat. We're going to try to bounce it now. Maybe he is playing black mana and he just hasn't seen any yet. You have a Darcy. So we'll start with a Shardless. We'll see what we can hit. So look at him. We'll just start with 1. We'll try to get value from this. Full value from this, that is. I'm just going to name a nameless inversion. Okay, so it's an Ash Barrens. I was trying to think of a card that maybe he wasn't able to cast. At this point, we are going to swing out. We have a couple of blockers, and then we can start doing some things with a Cabal Therapy here. Post-combat, if they don't trade with Sedgemoor Witch, but if they do attack with both, then we can... Okay. We're going to gain a couple life. What we'll do is we will sack Cabal Therapy. go for Worthy, good one. And then we'll just do it again. There's not a whole lot of draws that he's not going to play, so so we're really not going to get any more value out of the Cabal therapies. This basically just ensures that we can gain a couple extra points of life. We also have the Flashback Oblivion if he does hold a card or two in his hand. And we're going to get that one. All right, nice. So post board, we do not have that much. So I think we want Death Marks because of the bear, and Patchwork Beastie seems good. I don't think we want Wear Downs. These Leylands are probably good enough. And now what do we not want? Hymns are probably alright. I don't really like these therapies here. Him and therapy kind of play a different role. Removal, 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 removal. Torok seemed good with the Faithless Lootings. Founding, I think, loses some value. We'll go with this. We'll try this. Deck's a little more expensive mana-wise, but I think we're still in a good spot. This hand looks good. We're not doing anything turn one. We have a lane line into like double him, so if he's on a mulligan, it's even better for us. Must be really mulling. Mull to 4, good lord. This might be a tough one. Who's got Blackleaf Cliffs? Interesting. I'm sure that's like a decent portion of budget. So this hymn will probably be pretty good. Cabal Therapy. If he names him the Torok, then that's really good for him. I think it at least gives him a chance. Nice, yep. Good call. Now we're really in a spot where we just have a removal spell and some lands. However, most draws, especially with our mana online, but we're in a good position still. So we'll go Snarl, Reveal. We don't need double blue for anything, so it's not like we need the Sunken Hollow in play anytime soon. Probably a bear, yep. Nice thing is, this bear will not hit us for more than 3 a turn, so we can take a bunch of hits from it if we need to. I think we are just... Do we want to just play this Torok? I think we do just want to play this Torok just in case. he wants to go for like a Faithless Looting to try to find potentially an answer for Leyline, or maybe to just find better action. It'll at least let the Torok grow. We're probably... There's a good chance he might just play his hand next turn and we won't be able to get a card with Torok. But it being in play at least is a good start. This next turn, depending on what he does, we could just drag the Ursine. The nice part too is if we grow the Torok enough, we could just block the bear. I think the most realistic line is going to be to drag it this turn. Let's take a turn off from doing anything else. Like to see the truth. So beginning of combat, we'll drag the roots. We'll get a free card off the mill from our sign. And then we'll kill this guy. Grimflayer. I don't think we care that much about Grimflayer. It's the same size as Torok. So we'll kill the Ursine. Ended up milling a Darcy. Ooh, that's pretty good. So this play is probably shrink his guy, draw 2. So we'll draw, we'll shrink. So we're in a really good spot now. We can see the truth next turn if we want to. Potentially find like an Uro or maybe a like a Grist. Just need to find something that puts a little bit of pressure on. Yep. Alright, so we're going to start with a See the Truth. Okay, we found the Grist. We'll play lands. No, I guess we don't need to play the landscape. We can actually cycle them. Well, there's a Shardless. Oh, we actually hit a Grist. So Patrick Beastie can't attack because it needs Delirium, so we'll be able to attack for 2. So only 2 creatures in the yard. All right, another Grimflayer. I want to keep these landscapes just to cycle because we're good on mana. We have double blue for Uro and also double green. So we'll just keep going wide. I don't think we need to get to a point where, like right now, this Torok I don't think is getting any more value, so we'll just keep attacking. Yep, this is fine. Our Grist can take one. If he chooses to attack, we can cycle both of these. I guess before combat, maybe we should cycle for Boiling Landscape. This is actually kind of awkward because he doesn't really want to attack the Grist. He wants to try to be able to surveil with Grimflare. So I have to figure out where he's attacking. Okay, he's attacking me. I think I'm just going to let that happen. The one of Wretched Confluence, surprisingly coming super relevant game one, or not game one, match one. I wasn't sure if this card was going to come up at all, but basically being a 3-for-1 there is pretty insane. Alright, hits them all. Interesting. Obviously, the mulligan was challenging, combined with the fact that we had Leyline. Alright, so we're going to start with a Shardless, and we'll see what we can hit. We'll just kill the Grimflare. Nothing cute we can do by like ticking down our Grist. So opponent goes to 7. We'll activate. We could play this Grist to Legend Rule and get up to 3 creatures in the yard. But I think we're just on a go wide strategy. This thing can't block. He has 1 card. It could be a blocker. Still takes 4. And we get the match. So really tough game 2 for Senna there with the mulligan and the Leyline. But game 1, we really showed that the deck can be super, super grindy off the top. So GG's to Senna. Alright, we now have a match against Hadel. Hadel's typically doing something unfair in most of our games against him, so I would expect the same thing. I don't think this hand's going to do it. Part of it's just due to knowledge that this is probably an unfair matchup, but if it was something that was more grindy, I would be more interested, but I don't think it does enough. Okay, this is more playable. We will keep. We'll bottom this See the Truth. One of these at least. Unless we draw a black source, we'll play Landscape on 1. So we're going to play this Landscape. We won't have green mana for a minute, which is okay. But we want to make sure we can get this hymn turned on. Okay, so this is Nadu. Interesting. Kind of excited to show this. So we will name Nadu here. Okay, so he's on an illusion. Okay, so are we dead then? Because if he has Illusionist, So we're going to F6. So my assumption is we're dead, but we can at least see what we need to prepare for next game. Guess I'm showing the wrong thing, huh? Should be doing this. Okay, so there was a hostility. It's probably hostility in Sir Conrad. This might be a tough matchup. I'd have to check post board. He's on Dread Return, so this is probably Ley Lines coming in. Okay, so it is the Sir Conrad game plan. I'll just kind of show it here for a second so you guys can see, but what he's doing is he's going to mill, it's going to flip hostility, and he's going to go for the kill. So then here we'll concede, just so that way we don't make him click through it, but you just kind of keep looping that hostility through. So I actually do like these disputes because it counters, excuse me, it counters all of the combo creatures. I think we do want ley lines. I'm not sure about Unmoored Ego. With Unmoored Ego, we have the ability to name Shuko or Nomads in Core, but it might be too slow. In an instance like that, like he had Shuko and then had Illusionist and Nadu in hand, so I'm not sure if that's the route we want to go. We might just want to lean in on these ley lines. Now, what to take out? This doesn't seem like a Dreadnought game or Dread Knight game. I think we want to be cascading into the more impactful cards. This is really tough. We're really grindy, but like there's some challenges with that. I like these foundings to be able to kind of get more value out of our discard. Which seems okay. Grist seems alright. I actually don't really like these Uros that much. This is a bound spell. Maybe two of these Taurox, or maybe it's an Uro, take out the Taurox. So the Taurox can tag additional cards, but 4 mana is just a lot for that. We'll try like this. Deathmarks are okay because they kill Nadu, but they do miss. And they kill, not Illusionist, Nomads Incur, but they missed Illusionist. So we do have a Therapy. I think we'll try this one. We at least have a decent curve. Alright, how do we want to do this? I think I want to go... I think it's just landscape play and then pass. So we're going to find a black source just in case we draw him. Okay, so we can go double therapy here. So we're going to name Illusionist first, just because it can come down next turn. Okay. So his hand is double Preordain. I think we're going to cast this other therapy, tagging the other 2 Preordains. So now we got some time. I think we'll do... We'll tag that ending that's in hand. And then we'll play this. We can cycle the Ash Barrens for a blue source. Okay, that's actually a pretty good draw. So now we can just hard cast the ley line. So now this shuts off the Sir Conrad combo. So now it's just kind of a fair game, and with us being up on resources right now. He's got 4 cards in hand, but okay, Shardless isn't bad. I think we're actually going to cast a Sedgemoor Witch now. Okay, is it lose focus? Sure. So we know he still has Test of Talents. Test of Talents, Brain Surge, and Archamoeba in hand. Right, that's not bad. We are going to try to go for the Shardless here. He could Test a Talent something here, like if we hit. Okay, that's actually pretty good. He can Test a Talents to see the truth. In fact, it's probably his best line. This is hilarious. So now we're going to have access to... Yep. We're going to have access to him next turn. We can cast these Cabal Therapies if we really want to, but I don't think that that's something we need to do. I'm sure he has a way in his main deck to deal with this Leyline answer. I just don't know what it would be. We didn't see anything yet with... He might have something off color for Prismatic Ending. We're going to be able to cast as him, so we might as well just target him with the mill. So you can go for the Test of Talents here. If he does, then we can dispute it. Interesting, okay. Right, we've got a slow clock here. It's interesting that he didn't want to fight over that him. I wonder what his hand is. We have another him, jeez. So once again, if he goes for Test of Talents, we can dispute it. I think this is actually fine. We don't need to fight over this. Because we could pay 2 and counter the original with Dispute, but we just have another copy of him. I think that Test of Talents is still in his hand. Yeah, he still has Test of Talents. So what we can do here is we can actually attack for 2. Wait and pass, and then if he doesn't do anything, we can consign our own Shardless. I don't know if that's actually better than just waiting for him to play something. That's fine. We could fight over that, but it's so it feels like we really just want to be trying to like counter a Nadu or something of value. Alright, so he still has Test of Talents up. I don't think it's worth us trying to do that the cute Shardless play. And we naturally drew one, so that's pretty good. It's unfortunate that this deck plays him because you can't play Giganta, which sounds crazy. Be a good time to just pick up your free card. I don't think we're going to need this. We can do this now. Try to Shardless. Probably not a him, it's a See the Truth. So we'll get to get like a nice little draw 3. So he's going to test this. I think we do want to fight over this. Because we do have those Cabal therapies from our graveyard. So we can do now, go Cabal Therapy. Well, actually, I don't think we care about Nadu. He's got 2 cards in hand. I think it's fine. We could try to hit Nadu out of his hand, but he would have to have like land, Nadu, Shuko, and he only gets 2 activations. And then if he does do something, we have the consign to be able to bounce it, or we can grist kill. We will cycle this now. Alright, so we'll attack for 4. This unfortunately is 1 off lethal for making him draw 3 to die. I think at this point we can just wait, because once again it sounds kind of crazy, but we have that Wretched Confluence line. We don't need to tap down for the grist. He has to at least play a blocker for the Shardless. He doesn't have anything. Alright, so I actually think the ley lines were really good there, that we don't need the Unmoored Egos. Maybe the Infernal Grasp is good enough. I just don't like it with the cascading. It would be different if we knew he was consistently putting pieces in play. This might just be fine like it is. Cut an Uro for an Unmoored Ego. It's probably better on the play than the draw. And he has Test of Talents, so we'll just try like this again. not quite there. Very close. Any of these other cards is a land, I would keep it. This hand's kind of awkward. I think it's a keep. Put Uro on the bottom. Right on time. I think we're going to play... This is kind of awkward, but I think we're going to play Sunken Hollow so that way we have access to Mystical Dispute for sure on turn 2. If he goes Illusionist into like Shuko, we would have a problem, but looks like we're fading that, so that's good. We could really use a land off the top. So we will dispute this. The one thing that's unfortunate is we can't answer this Nomads right now. I mean, I guess we have the Consign. So we'll have to see what these next couple turns look like. Really need to draw another land. Is it Preordain? Trying to figure out if I have a flash threat. So we'll use one of these. Just kind of keep his mana locked down. The second one we might wait on, just because we don't have a great answer for Shuko. Therapy's a little... I guess we could take Children. Or not Children, Now I've got me second guessing myself. I gotta look this card up. Okay, yeah, it is Nomads. Alright. Well, really crazy hand. So his hand is like all permission, basically. It's gonna be hard to play around a lot of this stuff. The tough part is, so we could try to see the truth. He counters it. It's like Illusionist. We're just like in a bad spot for a lot of things that he's doing, or that he could draw, I should say. So now his hand is these bottom 5. So now he has double blue, of triple blue now. Only having the single blue right now is a little awkward. If we draw another blue source, we try to jam some cards in. I think we're dead. Actually, we're not dead, because we can go Oh, I guess, wait, we probably are dead. Because we can dispute this. He has Test of Talents and Lose Focus. We can consign it. Or consign the Nomads, but he counters it. I think we're just dead. Yep, so he tested talents. So now we're just going to have 6. Yeah, Leyline being 1 card deeper than we needed it to be was a little unfortunate. He did have the Nature's Claim, but not being able to like try to Shardless and anything. He just had a lot of permission in his hand. Let's see. Is he doing anything else cool? He has a Sir Conrad. You're pretty much the same as game 1. It's just like a lot of permission, the couple cards. Nice. The Dread Return gets to do the thing, and then we won't make him click through it. He'll be able to just keep the loop going. We don't have anything for it, so we'll concede. GG's to Hadel. Nadu is a deck that you can play in the format. I've messed around a little bit with this list, but I haven't liked anything that I've settled on. But really cool showing. I'm glad that you could do it, show that it's clickable through Moto. But GG's to Hadel. Alright, so we are against the Pie Overlord. They're a player, they have this deck. This hand is abysmal. They have this deck that they've played called the Zodiac Pig, which is just like a mono black aggro deck. This hand is good. Well, this hand's fine. Bottom one of these. But basically what it was is Zodiac Pig at one point I think was like exactly $30 or something, but this does not look like Zodiac Pig. So the idea was that you would play... What is this? Oh, this is Meria. So this is Meria combo. So it plays a bunch of artifacts, plays a Meria, tap your artifacts for mana. Probably a Grape Shot kill. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play this landscape, find an island. So that way no matter what I draw, I can go like Dread Knight or Dread Whispers next turn, Shardless Agent. We might draw another land that just changes that whole path. I mean, it could be like a second Snarl. So then if we find Island to start, then we're just Island into Snarl, Snarl. So we'll find the Island. There's aforementioned Snarl. Let's see what... Yeah, this deck originally, I saw this idea from one of the Cincy players. I think it was Spencer, maybe? It was either Spencer or Curtis. I don't remember what their Discord name is, but they were on the Shardless bug list. I kind of changed up what they had. So I know that they're from the Cincy area. They may be familiar with the deck once I cast the Shardless this turn. It's interesting that they didn't play anything. I think we're going to play to high roll, which would be Shardless into him. Next turn, Founding into him. Okay, so we got a Torok. So we got a little bit of pressure now. I don't even know what I would name with this Cabal Therapy. I think if they had like a... Okay, they're doing something. They might play like Paradoxical, like I'm not sure. Wish, okay. Interesting. What's funny is I'm guessing their hand's really bad. If like that's like the line that they can do. So we're going to put a stop on our upkeep for next turn because we're going to play this. Actually cancel. So we want to do this. I feel like they play Paradoxical. Oh, nice. And I think the card we're going to get now... I'm a little afraid of Tinker. We did this line in the other match. I think I'm more afraid of Tinker at this point. I'm not sure what else their deck could have, but Tinker is just a busted card. Now our Torok outlives the Bolt. They can target the Sedgemoor Witch, but they'll take 3 out of it, which is pretty good clock for us. Unfortunately, this Founding doesn't really do anything right now. I think our next turn kind of looks like cast this. If he kills the Witch, he goes to 12. Okay, so he's wishing. Maybe Wish was better than Tinker, but I know some people do things where like they put like a one of like Sphinx of the Steel Wind or something crazy in the deck. So it's not really something I'm interested in dealing with. Alright, so Relay, Forest, and Lembas. So not too bad. Not too bad for us. So we're sacrificing this now just so our second hollow can come in untapped. We can remove that stop now. So we know they have a Bolt. So we'll take the Lightning Bolt. Grow our Torok. And then we will cast this guy. You can gain 6. Unless he plays a land, then he can gain 9. Nice we got there. Alright, so I like these wear downs. Unmoored Ego's kind of weird because they have wishes, tinkers. Dispute's also kind of weird because it's only good against Paradoxical. Maybe we bring these in. Maybe we have other dead cards that we can cut. This card seems weak here. I don't like Griss either. Do I like everything else? I think so. We'll run it like this. We'll try it. This is my favorite part about VV, though, is that we've put out some videos now, have never played against this. I know it's a deck that's been around here and there. People ask about it for Storm variants. I think they're familiar with it, too, from, like, Commander. Not really sure, but... this hand just needs one more land and it's good, so we're going to try it. And so we are going to therapy them. We're going to start with Meria. Okay, so next turn we do have another therapy that we can take those wishes. All right, we need another land in these next 2 draws. All right, I do like that. So this will be Wish Classic. He's got a Grape Shot now. So we hit 2 of the wishes, so I think now we name Meria, probably Meria. See, this is why I didn't like the Unmoored Ego, because now I have to think. Meria's probably the best name now. We've gotten rid of 2 wishes. Paradoxical could be a card, but it doesn't win the game. We hit 2 wishes. It's probably Meria. Alright, what else do we need to know about in this deck? So he doesn't have any tech cards to tinker for. He does have a channel. He's a Paradox Engine, jeez. So the next card is probably Paradoxical if we draw another. If we draw another copy of Unmoored Ego. So now he'll just be cycling a bunch of artifacts. cast Dread Whispers. This isn't terrible. It'd be nice if we could find a hymn. We just need to get him out of cards in hand. A companion would be really good for this deck. I just wish any of them were playable. Him's probably too important, but like if we could pick up Gigantha that turn. So we're gonna name Paradoxical Outcome just in case he drew one. He did draw one. So we'll do this. Play. Tap and then tap. We'll cast this. And then we'll target him, sacrificing this. We'll tag Relay. I guess Refractor was better there. A little bit of a misplay. Come on, Moto. I guess something I'm forgetting is that Founding isn't just a 1 or 2 that we can flashback, so we can flashback this this Unmoored Ego from the yard. Do we want to crack this, or do we want to... I think we want to crack one of these. Just find the island now. So now we can actually do this. I think we want just more black mana. So we can cast this. We still have 2 therapies we can cast. Okay, so he's kind of stopping our loop here now. So we'll just name the Grape Shot. He has another Paradoxical, okay. So we're going to cast this for 2. We're going to mill them. Because it doesn't look like there's a way that they can pick cards up through their deck. We hit the channel. Now this next turn we'll be able to unmoor to ego away the Paradoxical. Although they only have 2. One in hand. We drew Wear Down. So we'll see if he Paradoxicals here. My guess is he does. I think it's just Wish. I don't think there's a way that we just like lose now. Could be wrong about that. This is like too much. I have no idea what's going on here. I think we just leave this up. We can drag to roots a Helm of Awakening. So he plays Helm of Awakening. I guess we didn't. There's a Helm in place, so that's why I was being goofy about tapping. I'm floating a blue mana for no reason. I'm not sure what can happen to us here. Because there wasn't a Grape Shot. So we can wear down, blow both of these up. And this game's been goofy. We can also go Founding, wear down. We can drag the roots out of the graveyard. All right, we are going to activate this now. So we are going to cast this with a gift. Is there like a loop with this that I don't know? No, they need 2 mana to activate that. I don't know. I don't actually know from here what they can do to still combo. It might be that. So every spell nets do 2 with Soul Ring. It's gonna have 6 for now. I just want to know if we're dead and how we're dead. Yeah, like, is there something with a Lembus? Is, like, Lembus how we're dying? Okay, we're getting bolted. I'm just trying to think, looking back through their deck, what they had. They have no more wishes. They have 1 Paradoxical that they could play. We hit the Grape Shot. I'm like really curious. I don't know what the line is at this point. I don't remember seeing an artifact that like shuffles cards back in. The only thing I could think is that like they're gonna loop Lembus or something. Which if they showed me a Lembus loop I would concede, but I don't know that that's what's happening. Okay. So another bolt. I don't think there was another Grape Shot. I think there was only 1 Grape Shot. He's down to 3 cards. Is this, I don't have anything? GG's, okay, yeah, they're just going off. All right, so GG's to them. Meria Storm is definitely really sick. Unmoored Ego is actually really good there. I shouldn't have been talking it down, but really sweet game, really sweet match. All right, we are against Mori. Mori recently has been on Blue-White Spirits, so that's what I would assume we will see. We'll keep this. I almost don't want a therapy until after we play the Torok, just to get additional value out of it. Plus, that'll give us a turn. The Blind Cabal therapy is a little harder to do in this format just because it's so wide. Take off this stop. We can also cycle this Ash Barrens. So this could still be spirits. We'll cycle this. We're probably going to want... We have enough black sources for Kick Torok if we want to go that route. We're probably going to want to get this island. We'll just play this now because we know that he is playing white. So then that way it's just kind of a threat against whatever he's doing. I'd really like for him to play something this next turn, though, so that way we have something to try to therapy. So this is probably spirits. See if we can high roll with this therapy. I'm thinking either Spell Queller or Drog Skull Captain, because those are threes that... Okay, he does have a Spell Queller. So swords lose focus. Fortunately for us, all this is pour into the Torok. So what we can do is we can attack here, make him use his mana on Rattle Chains, and then we can bounce it with Consign. So we just kind of time walk him here, which is pretty sweet. So next turn he probably keeps up... He probably plays Land Go. Keeps up mana for swords and Rattle Chains, or swords and like lose focus. The nice part is if he does go for that same lines of Rattle Chains, we can kill it with one of the Drag to the Roots. It's funny too because the Skyclave doesn't do anything against the Torok. So we played this island. Sunken Hollow. We'll do the same line. Probably flash it in. Look, he's not doing any blockers. Okay. So with that being the case, we're just going to pass. We can kill whatever he flashes in with Drag to the Roots. So he flashes this in, we'll kill it. We don't really want to lose this Oblivion because it can grow our Torok pretty crazy. Maybe there's a Lord that he plays. Like if he plays a 3-drop here, taps down where he can't lose focus, then we can get 2 cards out of his hand, grow our Torok. We're going to do the same exact line where we go to combat. Alright, we're not going to play this Grist just because we know that it can get replicated, lose focus. We kind of want a turn where we'll be able to Either force something out to kill it or have him like flash a guy in. Now his loose focus is like really online. Fortunately for us though, we have the clock. Like he has to make a play here at some point. A proactive play, I should say. So we're going to do something here. We're going to attack with this Torok, see if he flashes in something to kill it. So he's doing something. Spectral Adversary. We'll see if he's going to phase it out. Okay, he does. Wait. That might have been a misclick. Given that he has no mana up, I think we are just going to let this trade happen. Because now we can get a Grist in play. So we're going to go after the loose focus here. Okay. So we know that he has Skyclave that he can't play, a Swords that he can play, and a Paradoxical Captain. Unless he draws something else, he probably just plays the Captain this turn. We are currently, how many types? Okay, so Drag to the Roots is online. So if we find a green source, we can do both of these. Interesting. I think we're going to go full upside. Well, we could just make him discard 2 cards. This is probably better. That's right, Spectral Sailor. That means that we will hit the rest of the hand. We'll make a guy. So then next turn we have Shardless or Drag to the Roots. We still can't do both. I think the worst top deck for us would be another Paradoxical Captain. Because Paradoxical would let us not be able to attack in with Torok. You probably want to hit at least Paradoxical Captain into this Grist. So if you're doing that, you probably want to send both. Because I can't block either. You don't really have a profitable block here with both. Yep. so Grist will go to 1. That means we'll probably get 1 more token out of Grist, and that's it. Oh no, he went to me. Interesting. Okay, we got the forest, so we'll start with a Shardless agent. So we'll get a draw 3 off Shardless. We might be incentivized here to sack the token to blow up Paradoxical Captain. Interesting. None of these at Shardless. One of these probably could have went at Shardless just to tap my mana down. So then we will... Okay, interesting. So we'll attack with these. We can hold up this drag to the roots. We don't need to worry about casting it yet. Probably just go on Paradoxical Captain, no matter what. His other creatures will have hexproof, so it's like I could target them. Plus it's a lord. He has to have something else, because if he doesn't, then he would die on the backswing anyway. So we'll take 1. So we'll just start here. Looks like he doesn't have anything. But I was trying to calculate 8 damage. Alright, so we got there on that one. So Spirit's just definitely a blue-white tempo deck. We'll bring in these disputes. Deathmark is okay. I think it's good enough that we could consider bringing it in. Let's see, post board. Not a big fan of these Sedgemoor Witches. Or these Dread Knights. Just definitely more controlling now post board, so we'll have to keep our Shardless in mind with the Deathmark. Actually, Infernal Grasp was probably good. One of these Foundings. I don't think I got the submit off in time. We'll have to see. Oh, okay, we don't have blue mana. Okay, he mauled. I think we're gonna maul then too. Just because we don't have an Ash Barrens or a Landscape, and we don't have anything proactive until turn 3, so we will maul. Okay, this hand is better. I think this looks like... We'll keep... I think we're putting this grist on the bottom. Because this play looks like landscape for island, swamp, wait a turn, go forest, Torok with dispute up, as long as we still have it. Okay, Mausoleum Wander, that's pretty annoying. This card's really cheap with the remastered printing. It's like 20 cents. Went down a ton. So we'll search. We want the island in our deck. Alright, our turn. So we'll go Snarl, Reveal. I think we do want to start with one of these therapies right now. Just because we have the mana available to play around Maelstrom Wander. We can also force him to use one of his spirits if he has something. So this is a loose focus. So we could fight over this and make him lose his Wanderer. But we don't have any information. I think that's fine. There's also another avenue where if like we draw a black source, we could try to force something on his turn into like a Torok kick. The other thing he's doing right now is Maelstrom, I keep saying Maelstrom Wander, but it's Mausoleum Wander. So if Mausoleum Wander, if this is his only threat, we have a ton of time. So with this being the case, I think we're gonna slow it down a little here. Well, we can cycle to get the swamp, and then set up the next couple turns. So like next turn we play that swamp. Maybe we draw something that we can do, or we go like Cabal Therapy, Mystical Dispute to try to fight over getting the Torok in play. Because once the Torok's in play, it's gonna be really hard for them to remove it. Okay, they don't have a land for that. We'll cycle this end of turn for that swamp. Okay, Drag to the Roots isn't bad. Right now we're at 2 types. We have land, sorcery. We'll go for the therapy again now. I'm going to go for the Spell Queller. Geist, good lord. Okay. So this tells me, though, that next turn, not even next turn, but just in general, they don't have a very good way to deal with us resolving this Torok. They do have a live top deck, but that's it. And if their draw is a land, and so they're going to go Rattle Chains. Do we care about this? I think we want to let Rattle Chains resolve. We want to try to fight over either Geist or Spectral. A little bit more pressure coming through now. He has Geist, Spectral, and an Unknown. Okay, we got the Death Mark, so... Castle Kicker. See, this is where Deathmark is a little awkward because we know his hand is Adversary, Geist, and another card. We'll try to dispute the Geist. Most likely is getting Mausoleum Wandered. No, interesting. I guess even if he gets the Geist in play, it can't attack into Torok. We don't want to kick any of these, or cast any of these Cabal Therapies from the yard. They don't really do much here. Still one card type off of Drag to the Roots. That's a pretty good top deck. Even more so because we can't really do anything about killing it because he does have the Mausoleum Wander to sack. So we'll go to 8. There's still a lot of good draws that we have. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attack. Okay, so we want to main phase this here. Just because we don't want him to draw another... You let that happen. Interesting. I guess he's still technically winning on the clock because this is 3 turns versus my 4. We're going to go to... Yep, we got 5. He'd have to have 2 spirits to buff Mausoleum Wanderer to lethal next turn. If he does have Supreme Phantom, it's lethal. Alright, so I'm gonna cast Grist. Good because we don't want to draw that. So if we can fade 1 turn, we can kill the Rattle Chains next turn. So then hopefully we could get like removal spell off the top. Another Drag to the Roots is good enough here. These death marks are probably not good, given that he also has Geist. So if he's Geisting us, then we're just not... we're not going to be able to target that anyway. Get 1 dead draw out of our deck. Draw Dispute. So we are going to start. Geist. So we want to dispute this. Any spirit off the top gets it there for him. The other side of things here would be next turn we could attack, kill our own Torok to kill their Mausoleum Wanderer to live. Have to fade any spirit. If we can draw like a Shardless would be huge. Flash threat. Yep, they got it. Close game. And Shardless into Deathmark. Okay, Deathmark wouldn't do anything, but at least we'd have a body. Alright, I think I like this Infernal Grasp more. Take out this Deathmark. Maybe it's a Sedgemoor, which we keep in. This looks fine. Geist will be tricky. We got to make sure that we can deal with Geist. This hand is okay. We're going to have a similar path where we go Island, Leyline. Interesting. Let's do this now. And they have Vial. Interesting. Okay. Play to See the Truth now. All of these are really bad. We'll take the Torok because it's at least a threat. Maybe. These are both really bad draws here. Leyline's interesting. There's a lot of people that like to use Leyline in their sideboard. I think there's some matchups it's really good. Me personally, I don't like the applications of the card that much in the format. I kind of want to wait on this Uro. Because we have time, we don't want to get it into a counterspell. We're going to try to shut down some of this Aether Vialing. So he can choose to fight over this, and if he does, he'll He'll get to keep his Vial, but it'll also... He won't have mana up to counter. Which actually organize his hand from dead to not dead. Torok's pseudo dead. We can move him over. I think our path to victory this game is going to be trying to get this Uro in play, which will be a chore. Probably save this other landscape just to cycle. Okay, Wretched Confluence is also pretty sweet. Probably just wait on all this turn, see what he does. We don't have any creatures that we're going to pick up, but we could kill off a couple guys. This is target opponent, yeah. Yep. So we'll cycle this. Another Torok. Oh my god. I guess we start casting some of these. Spell Queller, okay. The Deathmark is usable here now, but it's still pretty poor in this situation. We do have more removal we can draw. There's a chance that he... I was going to say, if he has Geist, this is a good opportunity to Geist. We are going to bait removal on this Torok now. Or a blocker, at least. Okay, no blockers. Only having the 4 mana is kind of awkward. I thought that we might have drawn another land before cycling this. I thought that we would have found something, but... So I can see the truth, find a land in Uro, if it's a blue land. If it's not a blue land, I don't really have anything. Or I could Uro and then risk it getting tagged anyway. I think this is the route. Still didn't find a land. Probably take this because we only need one more card type. The Hymn doesn't do anything. The Sedgemoor Witch is fine, but she's 3 mana. So I could cast this other Torok to try to turn on the drag. Alright, so now our drag costs 2. So a green source for us is good. This leyline has been doing things this game, but it's also kind of awkward that it's just we're drawing kind of awkward with what our lands have us at. Kind of being stuck on 4.
We can drag the ley line if we want to, but at this point, I don't know how much value we're getting out of that. Okay. We're going to start with the same line. We're going to go Torok. We could see the truth from the yard. Oh, no, we can't. We don't have the mana. Yikes. I think we're casting this Uro. Probably getting countered in some capacity. Yep, he has a Queller. I'm not sure how much our game plan changes if he doesn't have the ley line. Oh, this is a Lord we lose. Yeah, he's got it. Because we could have therapied to try to take a card out of his hand. You know, and just like see what we needed to fight over. Okay, so this is his hand. Yeah, so his hand even was like pretty busted. So I don't think him having the ley line with the stopping the Cabal therapy mattered too much. I think we just had some really awkward draws where the mana base didn't really work out. We couldn't really cast some of our spells. That being said, this Blue-White Spirits list is very strong. It looks really sweet. It gets to play Aether Vial. Has a lot of instant speed interaction, just like your normal Spirits list. So, a good showing by Mori. Pretty happy to see more Vial decks on the videos.
All right, we have our final match against Benvi. Benvi normally really only plays the 5-color humans list. We'll be on the play here, and we will keep this, so we don't have to use this landscape yet. Kind of want to save it to see if there's... If we would rather... Well, we can't fetch, actually... You know what? Maybe we do it first, because we can't use... We can't find a forest, so... How much does it matter? I don't think it matters that much. We can play Hollow. We could Uro still, even by playing it. I think it's just Hollow Pass. This allows us to play all of our cards in hand, turn 2. And then we still have Uro available by playing the landscape. So this does still look like humans. Fortunately, they don't have a turn 1 play. Snarl's actually pretty good. So now this also lets us know that we can find an island with this because we now have green, green, and then blue for the flashback of the Uro. What we'll do is we'll play Snarl, reveal Forest, and then we'll actually just cast Dread Whispers here. Just get this cycled. Next turn, it looks like it's probably just going to be Uro. Okay, they have Pyre. We do have ways to answer Pyre. I don't really want to Torok yet. I think what I'd like to do is to go here, Uro, put this in play, and then next turn we have access to Torok Cabal Therapy. We could still find the island for this. So we're having a pretty decent start here. I mean, we're fortunate they really haven't done anything yet. Power setup for the rest of the game is pretty good, but we have a very, very strong start so far. We can do Founding, See the Truth, and then be able to mill cards to bring back Uro. And then we'll be able to potentially cast the See the Truth from the yard with the Founding. So that'd be a draw 3, so... We do kind of need to fade Jarina, the 2-drop that Bajuka bogs the yard. Meddling Mage, okay. Probably on Uro. Maybe on a removal spell. On him, okay. So we'll sack this now. We'll find the island. And then we have triple black for this Torok. So we go Snarl Reveal. So we won't have black mana actually to Cabal Therapy this turn, which is okay. But we did get Aragorn, which is good. Something that's really good here also is that Torok presents a very quick clock. I don't know that there's anything that they have that can answer Torok. They have Reflector Mages. I think there's a Palace Jailer. But all of those are white effects. Gonna have to think of what we can name. I mean, we might not even be able to get value out of this therapy. Alright, so you have Thalia. Probably bring back Lieutenant, yep. So the board has grown. We're still decently sized with this Torok in play, though. So I think we want to start, we'll go Founding. We'll start it at 1. That does clean up a lot of the board, this Wretched Confluence, so I think we're going to take it. And then we can Therapy. So what card am I taking? We're gonna high roll and see if we can name Reflector Mage. Or, well, instead of doing that, we could just cast our Dread Knight. Do we want to push damage or play defense? I think we're just fine playing defense right now because we're able to clean up a lot of this board with Wretched Confluence next turn. So these turns look like Wretched Confluence, mill some cards, be able to bring back Uro if he doesn't find a Jarina. He'd need a 1-drop to tutor for it. Excuse me. We had some pretty lucky Cabal Therapies versus Mori on the Spell Quellers. I don't know if we'd still have any more luck going on those blind hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 7 lands, so next turn we could go pay for the Confluence, kill Thalia. Okay, so now he can do the Jarina play. Actually, what's really annoying about this is we can't... Jarina would stop us from, like, doing our thing. The Jarina loops with, like, Extraction Specialist is, like, insane. We might not actually be in a good spot if he goes for Jarina here. Yeah, there it is. So what's tough about this is, like, it would be one thing if they just gave Indestructible or Hexproof, but since it's both... We're probably going to need to start trying to push damage through. So we'll mill 4. Potentially high roll some Uros. Okay. I think we want to start pushing damage through. No cards left in hand for this Cabal Therapy. No matter what, we want to cast this Wretched Confluence at some point on their turn, so that way we can try to cast it with the Founding. So we'll push Torok through. We want to force them to start using their cards. So what we can do this next turn is go like Wretched, go to like kill Thalia, I draw 2, and then cast it again. Hopefully they go to pop Jarina. It's a lot of mana. Oh, jeez. So... So the only thing they can copy is Thalia's Lieutenant. So, do we want to try to kill this now? So we could give it -2/-2, and I try to draw a card. Because we're not going to be able to... If we kind of waste the targeting if we target more than one thing. But this we could at least... so I want to draw... Shrink this, shrink this. So this should prompt a Jarina pop. Yep. We'll still get the draw card. Okay, Consign isn't terrible. We won't be able to do it this turn, but... You know, we might still be okay. It sounds crazy. We might still be okay. Wait, wait, what is it? So they're copying Extraction Specialist. I guess hitting Jarina? So they get Jarina, bring it back. Probably kill... We'll probably pop it in response to Founding. A lot of triggers. I guess it's an ETB. Here's what we'll do then. We'll set a stop on our turn. So we'll just block the most damage. It all has indestructible, so it doesn't really matter. Probably not casting that Mosswood. We're stopping in the upkeep, so that way... Actually, I did this a little bit wrong. So we can go to draw stuff first, so we draw. And him, so... We're going to try to bounce... I'm going to bounce Thalia first. At least try to. See if we can prompt a Jarina activation. Okay. So, what we could do... I would say we bounce Thalia's Lieutenant. Or at least try to. We're going to try to bounce Lieutenant. This may prompt the Jarina activation. There's probably another extraction specialist that can be grabbed by potting away the Jarina. Okay. So now with one card in hand, we'll just go... We know that it's Thalia. And now we can trade with this whole board. We're not going to get to cast our Dread Knight, which is unfortunate. We have double him, which probably won't do anything for the rest of this game. If they just attack with Satya... Okay, so... We'll see what they grab with Specialist. I'm assuming it's Jarina. If it's Jarina, I don't think we can win. Yeah, I don't think there's a way that we can win here from this point, so we'll concede. Pretty tough. That loop is really challenging. It almost makes me want to bring in like ley lines, but I know that it's like so incorrect. So we're bringing in a couple removal spells. What is not good here? All of this is good. It's a little costly, but it's good. I'm not so high on these See the Truths. Maybe it's like this. So we take out a Founding because it's less good without See the Truth, and See the Truth is just a little bit slow as it is. I think the rest of this is fine. This all looks correct. What if there's any benefit to playing like a Creeping Tar Pit or something? I was thinking about that earlier. Tar Pit's pretty free, but for how restrictive this mana looks like it is, I mean, it might be too challenging to play it in the deck. I wish we got to play against Affinity. We could have just went like Shardless and a Wear Down. That's like my dream with this card. I think this card is very solid. It is just sorcery naturalized, but in the matchups where you really want to be naturalizing, hitting 2 things and getting them another card, to me, that seems worth it. The gifted card could just be another land. You just need time. Alright, here's my thought. So we have all our colors of mana, and we have a See the Truth. The See the Truth will get off before Athalia comes down. I think we're going to keep it. There's also upside of just drawing like a Hymn to Torok. Let me take off these stops. Alright, so we will start with Sunken Hollow and just pass. Next turn should be Snarl into See the Truth. Another See the Truth. See what we can find. I do like Grist. We won't have a creature to sack to it for a little bit, but Sedgemoor Witch, I feel like it's definitely better than Dread Knight, and I think it's better than Witch just because we have some instants and sorceries, but I don't know if we'll have time. And then if they have something like Reflector Mage or Palace Jailer, they'll just pay the 3 life. Next turn we can at least set up Grist. Then after that's where it gets kind of questionable on like what our lines are, because it'll really depend on the next couple draws. Haven't really seen discard against them. We saw those hymns kind of too late. Meddling Mage? Lavinia, okay. Okay, so that's meant to stop Shardless. Whenever opponent casts mana... Okay. So it shouldn't affect the drag to roots because we should have 4 lands before we get to cast that, so... And we'll get this Grist in play now. We can hold up blockers if we need to. We got time as of right now. I don't think we Shardless them game 1. So this is like a heads up sideboard piece to be able to recognize that. Seeing that we were playing some things like the Consign. As crazy as it sounds, this mana does look like it might be a little awkward. Just only having like the 1 non-white land. So if they attack, we'll block. I think it's pretty free for them to attack. A Death Mark off the top would be pretty good here. Mill to Sunken Hollow, that's pretty good mill. We don't want to see that. I don't think there's any upside to... Okay, there's the attack. We'll block. Okay, Avacyn's Pilgrim. They have a Pyre. Alright, so I think we're actually going to drag to the roots this Pyre. We'll see what the draw is. Dread Knight. Okay, so I think our play is Landscape, drag to the roots of the pyre now, make a blocker. Make the blocker now. See what we hit. Shardless. Okay, we didn't want to draw that anyway. Play this. Then we'll main phase this drag to the roots. Oh, shoot. Oh, that's right. It costs 2 because of the Shardless. Oh, okay. That changes things a little bit. Would have tapped a little bit differently. Made that play. Here, I think we're going to... Can we get the Uro set up? We dealt with a pyre. I think that... I think we can afford, we can try to set up the Uro. Yeah, a little bit of a misplay. I wasn't thinking that we mill a Shardless there. So that turn could have been like... I guess there's really nothing different we can do there. Because we only had the single green, so we can't Dread Knight, or can't Snarl. We could have done the Dread Whispers part of Dread Knight, but... I think it's still fine there to see the truth. Okay, our Grist is going to take a little bit of damage here. Grist is going to take a lot of damage here. But we found an Uro. We want to find our forest. Okay, we have another drag to the root, so... I want to cycle for the forest so I can play it. So then what we can do here is... we can just cast Dread Knight. We have 2 mana up for the drag to the roots. We'll see what their turn looks like, how we need to respond. I am still a little worried about Jarina. Jarina, that card is ridiculous. Alright, so we want to kill something here. I think we want to kill... I think it's Lavinia. We do have other Shardless we can hit. If they attack with both, or if they attack with one or the other, I think we're no matter what blocking. Okay, Giant Killer, interesting. Giant Killer's a little annoying because it can keep our Uro tapped. This Dread Knight is 100% just on defense for a while, though. Yep. Deathmark is good. Let's start with an Uro. Okay. It sounds crazy. I want to kill this Giant Killer. And I just want to do that so that way we know this Uro can be online. We have no cards in hand, so the Thalia is less threatening. We also have a lot of lands. So a Pyre here is bad. A Jirina's bad. If they start trying to push damage, if it's any human, grow this and they attack, we can block so that we can cycle cards. Got a lot of options with that. It's kind of awkward because we're at 3. They're at 3 cards in hand. We're at none. If we can get this Uro back, great position. Let's see where they start. Alright, so I'm going to block this Avacyn's Pilgrim, so that way they can't pod it away for Jirina. That's step 1. If they naturally have Jirina, that's just really bad for us, but okay, so that's good. They didn't play anything, though, which is interesting. 3 cards in hand, so probably a Swords. Alright, so let's start. We're gonna want to be doing this. So we can leave this up for Uro. And these are green. We can get rid of Landscape, Ash Barrens, See the Truth, a Sunken Hollow, and one of these Drag to the Roots. That still leaves us with 5 types in the yard. We'll put this in play. I don't think I want to play this Landscape. I think I want to just cycle it. What do they have? Maybe a Reflector Mage they've been waiting on? Satya? Aragorn, okay. So they have the Monarch. Hopefully we have a good draw here. Because I'd like them to not have the Monarch for very long. We can probably deal with it for maybe 1 more turn, depending on the draws. Deathmark is great. Okay, how do we want to do this? We want to kill this Aragorn. This Aragorn's going to be a problem. If we cycle now, we could draw another removal spell or a Shardless. Okay, so we do have a Shardless. So let's see what we hit off our Shardless. That's pretty good. Alright, so this last card is probably something expensive. And it's not something that they would have cast. I'm going to high roll an Extraction Specialist. I gotta explain here in a minute. Okay, Charming Prince. So my thought with, well, actually, you know what? Let's actually take that. So my thought with Specialist was the only thing they could get back would be like any of these 3. Giant Killer is probably good enough to get back, but outside of it, like, I don't really think any of those hits are that great. Charming Prince makes sense because there's not really anything you want to do on that board. An attack here's interesting because I can take the Monarch back. I guess you don't really want to block, though. And then if you high roll into a Swords... Alright, so we will start by going to combat. We want to make sure there's no swords in our future. Alright, we have 3... So we have a lot of mana, so we should be able to do all these things. So we can go... him them. Okay, they had a pyre. Interesting. We'll cast this. Cast a Grist, tick down, sack this, kill their guy, and then we will cast our Dread Whispers. We do gotta watch time. There's not a ton of time. This game's been very grindy. So we'll just go to combat, attack. We won't put that Ash Barrens in play. So we will tick up. We want to keep this Grist, tick up. Cast, and then we'll pass the turn. So now this should just be more than enough. They could have an answer for Uro, but then now we're still pressuring. Okay. What do you bring back here? Probably Lieutenant. Oh, Charming Prince. Oh, that's right, because you can do the blink. That's such a sweet line. Oh, we'll just cycle this now. Running out of lands in the deck. We are down to 24 cards in our deck. We've been drawing a lot this game. Alright, so we could Grist, tick down, shoot this. We'll shoot this because what this does is means that this can't block. He can gain life, but we're starting to kind of get ahead now on board. We'll also get a Shardless activation, which is good. He can block the Uro if he wants. He'll only end up... He'll actually be neutral on life loss. Okay, he's going to block one of the bugs. See what we hit here. We'll just cast. It doesn't do anything. Kicked. That's huge though, because now we have just infinite blockers. That's pretty huge. Oh, we can do the line. We can make him. We can make them. Oh man, we didn't get to do it. We could have made them draw 3 cards and lose 3 life. All right, we have 7 minutes to win this game now. I don't think I want to change anything. Yeah, I think I like what we had. So we're 2 minutes behind on their clock. This hand's a little slow. Double Ash Baron. Although we can go for Cycle Ash Baron for a swamp, turn on Sunken Hollow. Did they keep? They kept the 7, okay. Right, another Dread Knight. Yep, they have Thalia. Fortunately for us, our hand doesn't mind Thalia too much. If it starts growing, it'll be a problem, but if my commentary starts to fall off a little bit here, it's just because I'm going to try to focus on finishing the match. Not running out of time. We are drawing a lot of lands. We're just going to cast the Dread Knight, though, just because the spell side of things is a little costly. Next turn is probably Sedgemoor Witch, no matter what. Swords, okay. That's actually not bad. If that's the turn that they're having, we're not in a bad spot. So here we can go Sunken Hollow, Sedgemoor Witch. Ooh, actually, we can go Snarl, Sunken Hollow. This next turn would be a turn where we potentially do the Dread Whisper side of Dread Knight, just so that way we can start trying to get some value out of it. This is another Swords. See, once again, if they're doing this is not that bad for us. We're up on life. They're not adding any more to the board. We have Uro mana, so we can actually convert these Sunken Hollows, not Sunken Hollows, these landscapes into card draw. Cabal Therapy. Okay, so another Sunken Hollow. Okay, so we'll play Sunken Hollow. Drawing a lot of them this game. We'll cycle the Ash Barons. Probably just get the... No, we have the 4, so we'll get a Swamp, because we're good on blue mana. We're getting a little land flooded here. We can play the Dread Knight next turn. So we could even just go Dread Knight, cycle Landscape, if that's what the line is. And they have Officer. Come on, Moto. Sometimes I've played things like Glistening Deluge in the board. Just to help with these go wide decks. The problem is this is really the only one, and sometimes it doesn't even go that wide. It can just amass a couple of really large creatures. I can't believe it made me use 30 seconds of my clock there because of Moto. Okay, so Specialist just as a guy. So this is a... just going to try to kill you as fast as possible. So... find the swamp. Man, another land, jeez. So cast this as a blocker. We're not going to waste our time with this Cabal Therapy. We just need to find cards that do things. Something like a Death Mark here. Founding doesn't really do anything. Hymns are pretty bad. We'll see what their attack is. If these are the only attacks, then this is a pretty easy trade with the Specialist. See what the follow-up is. Pyre, yep. See what they pot away. Probably Jarina, yep. I wonder how good this deck would be without Jarina. It feels like every time that I play against it, I'm like, I can't beat this card. Okay, so we can get rid of the pod. That's important. So we do want to blow this up now. This founding's kind of poor. If we find an arrow, it's not terrible. I should just F6 my turn. I'm not sure what I'm doing. If we find an arrow, we're in a great spot. Less of a great spot, but that's okay. Man, all these lands, jeez. So if we flip an arrow, we're gonna do this. We're gonna see if we can high roll an arrow. We did not high roll. Man, look, we were gonna draw 2 more lands. Jeez. It's 14 lands in the top half. That's pretty nuts. 1, 2, 3. So we'll go to 4. We still have some draws. A lot of them are going to be challenging just because... This is ridiculous. A lot of them will be challenging just because no matter what, we'll have to play around the fact that Jarina... Jarina can save the guys. So we'll go to 4.
This lag is ridiculous in this game.
Sidgemore Witch is interesting, actually. Okay. So if we cast the copy, we're not able to do everything, so no. Can gain a couple life here. Thalia, Guardian. Yeah, Alesha. Yep. So I think no matter what, we're probably dead. They can tap our guy. Well, I guess we're not dead now, because we can block one of them. They do have a draw in hand. There's just so many lands. It's kind of crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 12, 14, 15. A lot of live draws. Okay, they have Pyre. Whatever they have here is probably good enough. So pot away the Thalia, go for 3. Reflector Mage. About Sedgemore Witch. They can't tap my guy though. Pretty easy block. Oh my gosh. So play this. Oh, I can't cast it. Okay, yeah, they got it. That's really tough. 5-color humans is a very good deck. Benby definitely played really, really well. Really frustrating to draw a lot of those lands. I feel like you don't get to showcase the deck very well with that, but always a good showing of 5-color humans and all the different lines. Benby is the master. So GG's to them. Always a good showing. To end the video, our final record was 2-3, losing to 5-color humans, Nadu, and Spirits, while beating Meria combo and Red-Green Delirium. We had some challenging draws, and the mana base created some issues outside of casting him on turn 2. The value Shardless engine was strong, but when we weren't casting it or our impactful 3s, the deck felt weaker compared to the rest of the decks we played. I think additional removal would be beneficial, especially in the sideboard. It felt like our matchups that cared about the board were lacking, especially post-board. If you liked the video or have something you wanted to share about the league, the recording, or the gameplay, please let me know below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.